All right, hello everyone. Today we are going to be doing a change unknown problem. So we are starting with 187 plus an unknown number that equals 326. So we need to find this missing piece in the middle. To do this, I have built out a representation in expanded form of the two numbers that are known to us. And I'm going to remove 187 minus that from 326 to find out what that missing unknown is. So just to start with this expanded notation, we have a 100 represented here by 10 tens in that 100 spot. And then we also have 8 tens, which is represented in the 10 spot as 80. And then we also have 7 ones that is represented in the ones place as 7 units. And then we don't know what is added to each place value, but we do know that in the end there is gonna be 6 ones in that ones place, and there's going to be 2 tens in that in the tens place. So there's 20 represented there. And then in the 100s place, we have 300 represented by 3 groups of 10 tens. So to do this, I'm going to rewrite this problem. So we are going to be doing 326 minus 187 to get that unknown that we are missing over here. So we are looking for, once we minus 187 from 326, we will get the change unknown, which is the question mark that is over here in this problem. So over here, I have a new representation of the same problem. So we just have the 3 as our new representation. So as always, we are going to be starting in the ones place. So we are going to minus 6. 6 minus 7 is what we're going to start with, but we can't do that. So what are we going to need to do is we are going to need to regroup. In order to do this problem, we are going to start in the ones place. So we start with 6 minus 7, but we cannot do that. So we are going to need to regroup from the tens place. And I will show you in a representation. So we have 6 minus 7, which we cannot do because that would give us a negative number. So what we are going to do instead is we are going to regroup from the tens place. So we're going to take this 10 right here, which is also the equivalent of 10 ones, and we are going to move it over here. And so we're adding 10 to 6, and that will give us 16 now. Okay, so now I have this 16 right here minus 7. So 16 minus 7 is 9. So we will write 9 right here. So that 9 will go in the ones place. And because we regrouped one of these 10s, we only have 1 10 left in that tens place in the 326. So what we'll do is we'll cross out that 2 and we'll write 1 to represent that. And so we will now have 1 10 in the tens place because it has been regrouped over to the ones place to do the subtraction to get 9 in the ones place. So now that we have dealt with our ones place, we can get rid of that representation. So we have already dealt with this right here and this right here. So now we are going to look at the tens place. So in the tens place, we have 1 10, which is also 10 ones, just as a reminder. And then we have 8 tens as well, which is 80. So once again, we are unable to do this problem without regrouping because 10 minus 80 would get us a negative number. So we will have to regroup from the 100s place. So in order to do that, we are going to take one of these and we are going to regroup it over into the tens place. So as we see here, we're taking one of the three 100s and we're regrouping it over into the tens place. So to do that, we're going to cross out the 3 and we're going to write a 2 because one of those 100s is being regrouped over here. All right, so now we have 110 right here that we have regrouped from the 100th place. So 110 minus 80 gives us 30. So we'll now put 30 in that 10 spot over here. We'll put a 3 there, which represents also 30. And then now that we have dealt with the ones place and the tens place, we will move on to the 100s place. All right, so now that we're in the 100s place, we have two 100s from the first number, and then we have one 100 from the second number. So this is just going to be 200 minus 100, or 2 minus 1, and that will get us 100. So that means that we have 100 in that one space. So 326 minus 187 equals 139. And what does that tell us and how does that relate to this? Our original problem is what we're going to talk about next. All right, so now that we have this 139, we can plug this 139 into our original equation, and we can see if that works. All right, so we have 7 plus 9, which gives us 16. So we have a 6 here. I'm just going to write this below. 6 there, and then we regroup those 10 ones into the tens place. So now we have 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 groups of 10 in the 10 spot. So we will put a 2 in that 10 spot and then regroup 10 tens into the 100 spot. So then we have 3 100s, which gets us that 326. So this proves that 139 was our change unknown in this equation. So that means that the question marks can be represented as our representation over here. We can move that over. Oops. So this is our final representation and our final answer. So there are some challenges with this problem. So often when we trade a 10 for ones, that 10 is gone from the tens column. And so a common mistake is that students will try and subtract from the original 2 tens later on, forgetting that they already had physically regrouped that tens. Another thing that's a challenge is reminding students that when we regroup, the total value does not change. We still had 326 when we traded, but it just looked different. It was just a different representation of the number because we regrouped the hundreds and the tens into different place values.